Little video tour of my 1988 Schwinn Tempo. This bike's now 35 years old. I'm not the original owner. I bought this last year, intended to put it on the wall and just stare at it, and that's pretty much all that's happened. It's been sitting in my basement. I cleaned it up a little bit. It's a really nice survivor. So we'll just walk through the bike a little bit here and look at what used to be the entry-level race bike, at least in the Schwinn lineup, back in 1988. One of the nice things about the 1988 Tempo is they upgraded the rims a little bit and the wheels. It's now have a Wilbur rim, and this particular bike has a Shimano 105 group set, which is once again entry-level race bike on the Schwinn line. The other thing that's nice is in the 1988 Tempo, you actually got 105 hubs, whereas the 1987 version had some generic Mallard hubs, I believe. Or not generic, but that is nice, not a complete group set. Another thing I noticed about the 88 frame set is that the frame and the fork no longer have a screw hole for racks, which to me indicates that Schwinn decided this is definitely a race bike and not a touring bike. And I'll show you on the other side. I believe these actually are the original tires as well. The 88 Tempo got these seat stay decals. It's a little bit of wear and tear there on the seat stay from the previous owner. Nice clean seat post, and I can't believe that this white leather saddle still looks like a white leather saddle after 35 years. It's really nice, barely any yellowing or anything. Schwinn logo. So we go back down to another cool feature of the 1988 bicycles in the Schwinn, or not the Schwinn lineup, but the Shimano lineup. These bio-paste chain rings. If you can't tell, the bio-paste chain rings aren't exactly round. They're a little bit oblong shaped. And ironically, there's a company today that's producing oblong shaped chain rings, and well, it's not a new technology anymore. Unfortunately, the original pedals did not come with the bike, and I polished up the crank arms a little bit, but you can kind of see they look like Shimano 10 crank arms because the original toe clips wore the 5 off, which is pretty common for this type of bike, or common for any bike with toe clips. I don't know if you can see it in the photo, but when the sun hits the paint just right, it's all metallic. It's nice, pretty blue. Even the top tube, which unfortunately on this side, the top tube has the most damage in terms of paint chips, but it's also kind of a pearl white. Guessing that somebody had a bad bike rack or something. Once again, moving to the front of the bike, Schwinn decided to use a complete group set, and you have a real 105 headset instead of the Tangy headset on the 1987s. And I also noticed that the fork is different. The 1987 has a older style fork that looks like 2 pieces, whereas this one looks like a 1-piece fork. Well, it really isn't, but it looks like a fork more like the Super Sport had. And once again, it doesn't have any hole for a rack on it, which leads me to believe the 88 model is more of a race bike. Once again, nice Wilbur rims, and it's almost hard to believe after 35 years the anodizing isn't even worn off on this bike. So whoever the original owner was didn't put on a lot of miles or kept the brake pads really clean. Another feature of 35-year-old bikes that you don't see very much is clean shift or clean brake levers. They don't have shift levers on a bike this old, at least not up here. Usually every old bike has a scratched up front rear derailleur and a scratched up brake lever on both sides, indicating that the bike has been crashed, but this one has none of that. Just another reason why I picked it up. I think perhaps one of my favorite features of the 88 Tempo is right up here. Instead of a kind of a cheapy handlebar stem combo, we've got a nice Sinelli I think it's pronounced Schwinn-only combo here, and I think it's also called a pantograph. There's that nice logo right there in the back of the stem. I don't know if this was common to all the 88s, because a lot of the ones I've seen on eBay don't have that. So I think that's pretty slick with this nice satin finish. And going around the other side of the bike here, once again, a pretty clean brake lever. Original brake lines, Shimano SLR. This side of the top tube is a lot cleaner. A little bit of little chips on the down tube. If one could find the right color touch-up paint, this bike could be looking brand new without much effort. And once again, the 5 kind of got worn off of the crank arm, but otherwise they polished up really nice. And it's just another look at the other side of the rear 105 hub. Ooh, I can put my camera into the wheel. Ooh, you could look like you were a worm. And to wrap things up, just to look at the tire label, which happens to be on this side. So I don't even know if this bike is on its second set of tires. I mean, these look like official Schwinn tires, 700 by 23, 115 psi. How annoying is that? I currently ride at about 60 psi on 32C tires, so definitely a difference in the age. But once again, there's my 1988 Schwinn Tempo Tour, 35 years old. Still looking really good, and I hope you enjoyed the tour.